What's going on, YouTube? We're back in the garage today for part 3, the last part of this real-time Yamaha YFZ450R rebuild. We got the head from BNR. That's all we were waiting on. We're going to finish up the clutch first and then finish the top end, and then we might do a part 4, guys. You're going to have to let me know in the comments. Do you want to see me install this thing and fire her up when it's done? Because Mark's going to bring his quad by. I'm going to put it in. I want to fire it up, break it in, a few heat cycles, all that good stuff. Is that something you guys want to see? We'll obviously make it kind of a quick video. We'll do like a time-lapse install, and then we'll do like a real-time firing it up. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you want to see that. But we got some work to do, so let's go. All right, before we get started, I just want to give a huge shout out to BNR Motorsports. He serviced Mark's head. So this bad boy got +1 valves. It got cams and a port. I'll show you guys the intake side. It's friggin' sweet. Piston is also from BNR. And then he got us hooked up with an OEM cylinder. Huge shout out to BNR Motorsports, guys. He's basically the one-stop shop, whether you're a racer or just a weekend warrior or just like to ride trails here and there. He's the one-stop shop for all your needs. So if you need parts, he can help you. He can help you out. He's the suspension guy, all right? He does the Fox springers. These guys right here. He can basically build your quad from the ground up or service parts that you may need service, like shocks. He can do stock revalves. You guys know that I run the stock revalve in the rear. That's a BNR product, along with his link. You can see the BNR logo right there. That's the stock rear revalve from BNR. So this is a huge difference over stock. We also have the XC link from BNR. I'll leave his info in the description, guys. Check him out. Tell him I sent you if there's anything you need from head work, motor builds, suspension, complete race builds, and parts. All right, he does a lot of one-off parts with BNR and Raccoon Racing. So be sure and tell him that On One Wheel 7 sent you. All right, guys, let's get to work. All right, guys. So we're gonna get this Rekluse Z-Start Pro clutch back together. We just need to start off and put all our plates back in. These still have a good amount of oil on them, so I'm not gonna let them sit in oil. They're used plates, like new. Mark mentioned that they do not have a lot of time on them, so he said just put them back. So that's what we're doing. Definitely been a minute since I've messed around with one of these. I used to run these years ago, back when these were like the very first Rekluse clutch setup. We ran these back in my KFX 450. Definitely a solid setup. But I definitely like the newest version, the Radius CX. And now they actually have a new expansion disc setup now. I guess it's the EXP 4.0, so it definitely would be cool to upgrade to that in my machines maybe next year. All right, so that's all the clutch pack installed. We got to put the push rod in. You want to kind of work the lever in here. I like to make sure that this thing is working before I finish this, so that thing's locked in. You can see it moving. That one goes there. Oh, this one goes on top of this guy. That's how long it's been. All right, I got these figured out. All right, all right, so spacer, you got this little guy. Then we can put this on. The springs go on top against the pressure plate, like that. Circlip. Make sure that's in all the way. And just check it. Looks good. All right, now we have our springs. We got this guy and we got this guy, just like that. To make this easier, we're gonna flip this thing vertical. Make sure you guys can see. We're gonna need some Loctite. Get these things with some Loctite. So these bolts are 25 inch-pounds if you are doing a Rekluse setup. I'm gonna bring you guys up a little higher so you can see this. Get you guys nice and high. I will show you guys the balls in this, just in case you've never seen it, but you see, also he's got some missing for a lighter pull or whatever, so you can see all the balls in there. We're not gonna mess with those. So then you just line this up, just like a normal hub. It is spring loaded, so you gotta just turn it, and then it will snap in, hopefully, or it won't. There we go. All right, so now we got that on there. We can put this plate back on. You got to hold pressure on it, and what I like to do is I'll just get 2 of these bolts started just to hold it. That's why if you do this on the side, it's tricky. Like if you do this when the engine is in the quad, it's definitely a little tricky. It can be done. It definitely can be done. It's just a little tricky, but when you have this on the bench, it definitely makes it a hell of a lot easier. All right, set this thing to 25. All right, those are good to go. I'll put this back to my other setting I'm gonna need for the cover bolts. Those will be 86 inch-pounds. All right, we already got our gasket on there. We got our pins, everything looks good. We can pop the cover back on. We're just gonna start him with the gun and then we'll torque him down after. Okay, let's get this thing set up and then we'll work on the head next. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is just put one of these snap rings in on the other side, and then we'll do the piston rings next. These can be tricky. You just gotta kind of work it into the slot, and then you're just gonna pry it over with a small screwdriver. I like to use a small screwdriver or a pick. Once you get it started, it'll actually go in kind of easy. It's actually easier to put it on when it's connected to the rod, but we're not going to do that. All right, so I'm going to just line this up with this hole and go this way like that. Whatever you do, make sure you hold on to it really good, because if this thing slips, it is gonna go flying, so you don't want to lose it. All right, I'll show you guys that in there. You can see it. That went rather smoothly. All right, so now it's time for the oil rings. This piston did not come with directions, so I can't show you guys that, but we're gonna start with the oil ring. This is facing forward. All right, you can see the arrow, so we're going to put this one on that bottom hole, and just line up where they come together, right on the center in the back. And then you basically stagger these next two. One's gonna go on the bottom of that.
All right, so that's that. So it might be hard to see, but we have one of these, the joints right there, the other one right here, and then the oil ring is right in the middle. Then we have our two compression rings. Just make sure there is some lettering on these that lets you know you want to face them up. You can see T's, that's top. So there's one that's thicker than the other. Just double check the holes and then put them in the right spot, so you can see that this one will not fit in that bottom hole, so we know that's the top ring, so this one we'll do first. Same thing, so we're gonna set this one at like, I don't know, like 2 o'clock. And then the other one will be the opposite of that, like 10, 11 o'clock. Right there. Just about like in the center of this, where the valve cup is, right about there is pretty good. I get this one. And just make sure when we're, we'll double check them again when we put the cylinder on. But now we'll go put this on the rod. All right, guys. So make sure you have a rag inside the hole that goes into the engine, just in case you drop something, especially one of these guys. You don't want that going in there. You will be screwed. So just before I start, we're just going to put a little bit of oil on the rod. This way this slides together nice and easy. We'll put a little bit of oil on the wrist pin. So I like to get it started. Just get it started. All right. Don't push it all the way through. We'll put it on the rod, line it up, and then we can send her home. Right there. And now we can get our other C-clip in there. So this one won't be too bad. Like I said, I think it's a little easier when it's in place. So same deal, get it started. And then there's that little hole, pry it down, and then she will pop right in. All right, we got her in there. That wasn't too bad. Make sure she's clipped in. She just clipped in. All right, now we can remove our rags and get this ready for the cylinder. We're gonna undo our timing plugs. Get a 17 millimeter ready to turn this thing down. We're gonna make sure that this thing is spinning. All right, so we can go back up to top dead center. Right there. What I like to do is I'm just gonna set the timing chain just like that. I will grab it after. It's just gonna make the whole process a lot easier. We have some new dowel pins that go in here, the little sleeves. I've told you guys this before. I like to put a little oil on these things. It'll just make disassembly easier. If you ever do go to take this apart, it's not gonna be, they won't be seized in there, because they can sometimes, depending on how long they sit for, they can seize in there, and it's nice when you can save them. There is two. one in the front, one in the back on the right side of the engine. And then we have 2 more for the cylinder head. All right, we can do our base gasket. All right, then we'll get our cylinder opened up. Just make sure you wipe down the cylinder with a rag. Make sure it's clean. We're also going to put some oil inside it, just a little bit to make this slide in easier, hopefully. All right, we're going to double check our rings, and then we're going to try to get this on. Hopefully it'll go smoothly. Sometimes these things can be a pain in the butt, but you'll get it. Just you don't want to spin the cylinder. All right, don't be doing that. You want to go up and down. All right, you can kind of what I do is I'll start with the back rings, and then I compress them, get it on the front, and then just kind of wiggle it back and forth. Don't twist it, because then you'll move the rings, and that's not good. So we're gonna just look at the rings, make sure everything looks good. They do. So let's go for it. Let's see if we can get this thing on. Just compress the top ring, and then you can work it onto the second ring. Oh, let me just check it again, because I think it might have moved. All right, that one's good. Yeah, good thing I checked it, because the second one moved a little bit. All right, so let's try it again. Then just work the oil ring, just press them in evenly, both sides, just shaking it back and forth. It must be hung up on the, oh yeah, right here. So the oil ring on this side is hung up a little bit. There we go, there we go. All right, we're just gonna put the 8mm in just to hold it. And then we will grab that timing chain, just so we can crank this up and down. I want to see how it looks. Grab the timing chain with a pick, and then we're just going to rotate this, make sure that nothing is jammed up. That looks pretty good. We will wipe off the excess oil. Alright guys, what I like to do is I like to put a zip tie on the timing chain. It's just going to help you pull it through the cylinder head easier. Timing chain guide that's going to go in. Pop that in. We got our 2 little pins. Get our head gasket. All right. Oh. All right, we can grab the cylinder head. All right, so basically just feed the zip tie through. You can grab it. Oh, fix that gasket. Then just work the guides in, and that's it. We will put a screwdriver for now to hold that chain. We can get rid of the zip tie. Give her a couple taps down. Looks pretty good, and we can get the head bolts. All right, so we're just gonna start these with the impact gun, and then we'll torque them down. This is kind of like a 3-step process. And get these just snug. All right, so the first pass is going to be 28 foot-pounds. There's one. There's that one. We'll do the last one. All right. Then we will loosen them up. I'm going to have to probably clamp this engine stand down just so I can get some leverage on it. All right, next pass will be 14 foot-pounds. All right, and now here's where we will finish them. 2 more passes. So basically you're gonna have to take a marker, mark the inside of the bolt, like 90 degrees, like flat like that. And we're gonna do 2 passes. We're gonna turn them 90 degrees and then 90 degrees again. We'll do 1 pass, get this mark halfway, and then the final pass will get these marks all to the outside of the head. All right, so I just clamped this stand down to my bench, so hopefully that'll give me a little more leverage. So we're gonna start with these. Two separate passes to get these bolts at 90 degrees. So that is 1 for that one. So now the bolt is sideways. We'll get this guy. This is actually working really good with this clamped down to my stand. Right there, and the last one. All right, so that's the first pass. Now I'll go back and finish them. That one looks good. that one looks good. Last one. That looks pretty good. Now we can just do the 8mm bolts. So that's these two guys right here. These will be at that 7.2 foot-pounds or 86 inch-pounds, whichever you prefer. You can do it either way. That's it for those. All right, now we can get these cams in and get this thing timed. All right, we'll just check that this thing is top dead center. All right, we got that lined up. We'll end up starting with our exhaust cam. You see the little dot on the exhaust cam right there. You're gonna want that parallel with the head. The lobes facing out. Hold this side of the chain in the front tight. Make sure it has not slipped off the flywheel gear. That looks pretty good right there. Just make sure it's slid back all the way. All right, now we can get our intake cam. Same deal. There is a dot right there. That's your mark you want to line up with the head. Might have to do this a couple times. Yeah, we're way high. Oh, one more tooth, and we will be good. That looks pretty damn good right there. I'll show you guys this close-up of it so you can see. So you can see there's a pin right there and a pin right there. Those are level with the head. That's in time. Top dead center in there. You're not going to be able to see that mark, but that mark is in line with this little divot right there. So now we can get the little retainer clips that go on top of the cam bearing right there. Make sure these are pushed all the way into that groove. See how they just slid a little more? Do a little more oil on top of them. And then we can get the cam caps. All right, we're gonna start these with the impact gun just to get them down. Otherwise, we'll be here forever trying to turn these damn things. And then we'll torque them down. All right, now we can do our timing chain adjuster. We have a new gasket for that guy, and then we have a new copper washer for the one bolt that gets the washer. We did already wind it in. You will have to just take a screwdriver. I'll show you guys. This will come out. So that's how it looks when you take it out. what you need to do is you need to just put a little pressure on it, and it's got a little screw. Once you open the bolt on the back, just turn it in and it'll lock into place. We'll release that once it's in the engine. This is directional. You can see it says up, so make sure you put that the right way. It does go up. I just like to get these started by hand, and then we'll torque them down, and then we can release the cam chain tensioner, give this thing a few cranks, and see how it looks. Now when BNR does do the head services, he shims the valves, so you do not have to worry about that. All you have to worry about is riding the damn thing. All right, now with a tiny flathead, you can release it, just kind of turn it back. You can see it tightened up, and we'll give this thing some cranks, see how it looks. We'll just check top dead center again. We'll go one full turn around, get our screwdriver in here. All right, should be close. So right there. That looks pretty, oh, I just went past it just a hair. So right there. Everything looks good. So we're going to put on the valve cover. You guys see me doing things twice. It's because I'm trying to film some shorts video with my phone, so I kind of forget to start it, and I gotta go back and start it. So I can show you guys on the other social media platforms that I post to, like TikTok and Instagram, Facebook Reels. If you guys want to know what's going on before things hit YouTube, that's where you will find it. Just make sure that the valve cover gasket locks into the valve cover. You gotta check it. It's got like a slot. Make sure everything is in place before you bolt it down. That looks pretty good. Same deal with these guys. These are the 7.2 or 86 inch-pounds. Torque these down, and this girl is done. We can put our rubber boot on for the intake. That can go on there. Then just put we will put our timing plugs back. We're gonna have to cut this because the head's ported, guys. Just make a note, when you port a head, you're gonna want to kind of open this up a little more so it kind of matches the head. So we'll do that quick. All right, let you guys see it now. We opened it up. We just used a razor knife. You can see what we cut out. Basically that much we cut out. So it'll match this port job now. So now I can pop this guy on there. It looks pretty good. If that's something you guys would like to see, drop in the comments, and then we'll end up filming it and show you guys. So she looks good. We'll give this girl a once over, make sure everything is in place, but I think that's definitely a wrap. We just got to put the spark plug in. We have that right here, brand new spark plug, which BNR provided. Just a 14mm with the spark plug tool. And then we can just put our timing caps back in place. All right, that's that. We have our hose clamp for the intake boot. Pop that on. And then just our timing caps. And this thing is a friggin' wrap. All right, guys, that is a wrap for this one. Show you her all finished up. She came out really, really good. I think Mark mentioned that he is gonna put a fresh starter on this thing because this one was from his original motor, so it's been ran on 24 volts for quite some time, and in time it will actually slow the starter motors down. So I always put a new one of these for every race quad, with, you know, if it's a new engine or a rebuild. For the race quad, it'll get a new starter every year just so you can get those super fast starts. But this thing looks sweet. It's definitely ready to go. You can see that really nice port job in there from BNR. Show you guys that side. Definitely looks great. We do have, what did I do with them? We had two new, oh, right here. So we got these, once we take it off the stand, guys, we got these new collars that go right in here. So that's it for that. He'll have a fresh sprocket for that with a gland case saver. We got, you know, this guy, once we put it back in the quad, we got that guy for that. We'll leave that off for now. We did forget one thing. We just got to do it quick. I just saw, where is it? Oh, right here. We got to put the cap back on for that. It's just a 10 millimeter, just like that. That is good. She definitely looks good. Make sure you guys let me know in the comments, what do you think about this YFZ450R rebuild. Like I said, if you want to see the install and the real-time startup, drop it in the comments. If we get enough interest, we'll make that happen. But that's a wrap for this one, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up. That helps a ton. Drop some comments like I said, and if you're not yet, please subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.